Hope you don't get the sickness.
My boy Kurt is a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need pre-wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
Anticipation is thick today. Fantasia comes with a boatload of lore and fandom. Expectations are high. I mean, they built a gigantic wizard hat into the middle of Hollywood studios and Disney World back in the day. That's how iconic the Sorcerer's Apprentice, that's the short inside this collection of shorts is. Yeah, I mean, the hat's gone today, but still, I know a lot of people who think this is the definitive Mickey Mouse look. Let's hit play, okay. Let's hit rewind first, then let's hit play. It's a VHS tape. Okay, let's hit play. Blue background, full symphony arrives and begins playing. We meet Dean Taylor, or as every kid watching this movie knows him as, not Mickey Mouse. So far the musicians are just silhouettes, so I mean the lighting guys were probably fired right after this movie ended. You see abstract images. Walt says, quote, "It's funny how wrong an artist can be about their own work." True that, Walt. All right. After the first number of animated animations, we get the Nutcracker Suite, and there's naked pixies flying around, like not naked with any detail. They're like Marilyn Manson's nude suit in the Dope Show video, and now I'm kind of wondering how that song would match up to these visuals. Maybe that could be another like Pink Floyd Wizard of Oz thing. Like, here's a new one for you bored millennials. The Marilyn Manson Disney Challenge. Get on it. I want to see it. We move on. Now there's a spinning top in the water. Is this still the Nutcracker? I want to play Tetris. I feel like that would be a better use of my time right now. I mean, come on, Sorcerer's Apprentice. Let's get to this. I don't want to see this. Now there's no music, but a flower that's a fish. Now we have Russian dancers who are flowers. I'm actually watching this with both my kids today. Yeah, my 14-year-old son was interested in watching Fantasia, so I guess that says something about the Sorcerer's Apprentice right there. But anyways, he pipes up and says, "Can we just fast forward to the parts that bring me enjoyment?" That's pretty accurate. Now the nude fairies are ice skating. Like, I really want to appreciate this, but I'm struggling. It's been a stumble out of the starting line for Fantasia. Okay, but now it's time for Sorcerer's Apprentice. Let's do this. My son also tells me the wizard is named Yen Sid, because that's Disney backwards. Although he constantly turns down the invites to watch all these old movies with his sister and I, he's apparently a walking Disney fun facts encyclopedia. Good to know. I'm already loving this. Mickey is the bumbler in this short, which is amazing to see. He's never usually the bumbler. The sorcerer makes giant butterflies and leaves Mickey alone with his hat, the hat. Mickey slaps on the iconic lid, and we have one of the most amazing Disney images of all time. I'm giddy. It was worth looking at my watch through the first 40 minutes of this tape. He brings the brooms to life, and they haul the buckets. I've never seen this before, but I've also seen this a million times, if that makes sense. Like, you see the imagery of this everywhere on everything Disney. My entire childhood, I drank out of one of those McDonald's giant cups with this on. Mickey is still hauling the water. That's a lot of water. Sorcering must really dehydrate you. The sorcerer also must suck. I mean, you're telling me there's no water teleportation spell? Mickey falls asleep, and Ghost Stream Mickey floats out of his body and starts conducting the solar system. Now, I know Mickey Mouse has had a lot of cool opportunities over the years, but personally, I would put solar system conductor on the top of my resume. He's making waves pop out of the water, and I'm back in the outskirts of Hollywood studios watching Fantasmic. Yeah, Fantasmic, that's all I want today. There's nowhere I'd rather be right now. I'd trip my own brother to be at Fantasmic right now. Okay, Mickey woke up and he murdered the broomstick with an axe. I wonder if the wood used for both the broomstick and the axe were from the same tree. Think about that. That would be like stabbing your leg with your own arm. I remember an Itchy and Scratchy parody of this scene on The Simpsons back in the day. I appreciate that now. All the pieces come to life and trample poor Mickey. Now they're throwing water at him, just like in the golf course. But more on that later. Like, this is a collision of so many things for me. Mickey rides on the spell book and then he gets flushed. The sorcerer's back, and look who can manipulate water now. So I guess he was just making Mickey pay his dues with all the manual labor. Whatever. He's mad, and Mickey gives him his hat back and returns to being his bucket slave, but the sorcerer slaps him in the butt with a broom on the way out. That was the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Back to Walt, who gets a little snippy. He says the next one is, quote, what science thinks happened the first years of this planet. He sounds so snotty and smug when he says that. It's evolution in what feels like a real time, kids, and nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens. Finally, there are dinosaurs and they battle. T-Rex is a jerk and kills everyone. The sun will come out tomorrow. There's no more food or water. They're practically begging for something to end this, which is kind of ironic because I'm in the same boat. Bring back the wizard mouse. The dinosaurs suffer and die slowly. Good times, Wolf. Thanks for bringing me along on that ride. I wish the sun had the Teletubbies baby in. Remember her? Also, this is what she looks like these days. There, good to know. Back to the symphony, and they say it's half done, and I make this face. They want to introduce us to someone. It's a sound wave, and no, not the badass transformer that turns into a blue ghetto blaster and launches cassette tape vultures from inside his chest. Now we have unicorns. My son also tells me now that there used to be a racist unicorn that they had to blur or edit out of this segment or something. I don't know. I'm leaning forward. Racist unicorn, you say? That sounds like a groundbreaking early 90s punk rock band. We see Toot from the Epic Hercules cartoon that everyone in Canada who couldn't afford cable had to watch every Saturday morning in the 80s. It was on before Pink Panther and after Rocket Robin Hood, whatever. I'm trying to get into this really hard, but I'm struggling. Like, it looks great. The animators are working at the top of their game, but there's no storyline. You know, like, I was a big comic book nerd in the early 90s. Like, 11 of the industry's top artists in Marvel and DC Comics left one year. They started their own company called Image Comics. I'm going somewhere with this. Every artist drew and wrote their own original comic. And guess what? Other than Todd McFarlane, most artists can't write. And Fantasia is like Image Comics. Sorcerer's Apprentice is the spawn that went on to become a billion-dollar franchise. And all these other shorts are just other Image comics that no one remembers and no one cares about. Okay, now we have hot centaur gals. The centaur studs come and they pair off. They're inexplicably making wine now, and we're introduced to the first real bumbler of Fantasia. Some fat white human is dancing around these characters. Now, I mean, like, I've been drunk before, but I've never been wearing a toga and Superman cape while dancing with donkeys and topless centaur gals drunk. Zeus appears and starts raining thunderbolts down at the drunk. Zeus is wrecking havoc on these characters, and he destroys the bag of wine. The lush gleefully plays in the giant wine puddles as Zeus takes a nap. This is pretty good stuff. See, you need story. Even if the story doesn't make sense, you need story. You need something to follow, something to hang your hat on. The next day, the sun comes out and the rainbow, who's also a girl, flies across the sky. They accidentally show the DreamWorks logo long before that's a thing as well with that. Now it's time for the famous ballet. One about the hours of the day. Now we get the other iconic image from here, the ballet dancing swans and hippos. This is fun. Again, I've never seen this, but I've seen this all the time. I can't say I'm as jazzed about this as I was Fantasia, but I thought I would be. And I mean, I'm still really happy watching this. There's so many just amazing visuals from Disney, you know, Disney everything that I can place now. Up next, we get the devil. He rises up and covers villages with darkness, bats, and floating skeletons, and forget every negative thing I said about Fantasia so far. This is suddenly the greatest thing I have ever seen from Disney. We are in this kick-ass graveyard. Just the blue and the black sky and the gray gravestones and this old style of animation is all I want. This is working perfectly together. This is how it's done. There are demons riding demon horses. This is like heavy metal badass. Now they're dancing around and falling into a giant pit of fire. Disney Devil is amazing. He flirts with the tiny women made out of fire. Now there's goblin creatures. This is honestly my favorite thing this company has ever done so far. This is what I would come up with if Disney handed the company over to me for 5 minutes. This is amazing. This is next level Casper. The way they have animated the light bouncing off the devil is nuts. If they are still alive, find these animators, give them a bonus for the scene today, like in 2020. The bell toils and all the demons and hobgoblins and spirits are retreating. It's morning. Here comes the humans with lanterns. They pass through the forest as their reflections shimmer in the water, fade to black. Wow, just wow. I need a cigarette. Ave Maria is playing. It's cliche now, but this is haunting. The darkness breaks into light, giving this weird birth feeling scene, and we're left with glowing red and yellow sky. And thus ends Fantasia. Am I on Space Mountain? Because that was one hell of a roller coaster. There was some good, some bad, some awful, some unwatchable, and then the greatest single thing Disney has ever done that I've ever seen. I feel like overall, I understand the company a little better and why some of these characters have transcended all their promotional material for 80 years now, but that devil part is unrepresented in the overall Disney universe, and it should be. Finally, across the street from the Swan Resort in Walt Disney World is Fantasia Mini Golf Course. I said I'd talk about this. We've been there twice before, and it was always nonsense to me, but now every detail has come flooding back, and now it makes sense, and now it's my mission to return there for a third time and soak it all in and connect those dots. Like, you go through a cave at one point and the devil is there, and I always thought that was kind of weird and a little dark, but now at least I know it's supposed to be there, and I can point it out. Like, that's one devil I see that I know everyone else sees as well, and that's comforting.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has.